Topic right now, ladies and gentlemen, is customer advocacy in the age of digital disruption. The session is going to be chaired by the one and only Sunil Pinto sir from AdGully. Please give it up for him as I call him on stage to join us and chair the session. We already have with us Avinda sir over here, and I would love to call him on stage Anand Krishnanji, Head Marketing and Brand Management Marketing, ICICI Securities, for this session as well. Ladies and gentlemen, it truly can't get bigger and better. Thank you.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. We've been on quite a few hours of knowledgeable sessions out here, and privileged to be here moderating this session. Abhin, thanks a lot for the tremendous knowledge that you threw out at us and teaching us what is AI and what is not. We're going to get into more conversations there. But as it is right now, I mean, over the last few years, we've realized that the entire customer life cycle has made a tremendous change. A lot of times in the 80s, 90s, 2000, early 2000s, we all were speaking about getting customers, keeping customers, retaining customers. And today, that life cycle has moved one more step, wherein they've added the aspect of advocacy. Here we are discussing the importance of customer advocacy, what really it is and what really it means. I'll come to you, Anand, first, in terms of what you believe customer advocacy, what is the path that customer advocacy has taken over the past few years, and why is it so significantly important today, overall in general, and more specifically in the BFSI, insurance, anything to do with the banking, finance services, insurance, as well as fintech industry?
Sure, and firstly, I think thanks for having me here. And it was a very entertaining session by him. I think very enlightening. So I think I have a lot of things to take back myself. So coming back to the question that you asked, I think the whole purpose of customer advocacy or advocacy is to basically build that enhanced trust into the brand. But where does it actually start? It starts with an emotion of trust. Right? Because of the fact that you have created an experience that the customer has finished, and therefore he is chosen to sort of advocate your brand, your product, your service to the world out there. Now, customer advocacy at one point in time was a very nascent stage, but now I think it's evolving with the technology coming into the frame. And it's all the things that I've experienced myself and have seen happening in the BFSI phase. Have been first, I think most important thing is to give the customer a voice. The customer needs to feel that he belongs to the space, and he needs to feel heard. And I think that starts sort of building trust in the consumer first. Two is also about educating the customer. A lot of it happens because financial services in India, if you look at it, has traditionally very complex. If you go for buying a credit card, you don't know whether you're buying the right product or not. But an intervention will tell them saying, how do you buy the right card? How do you buy the right insurance? And which is the right insurance service for you? Or if you want to dabble in the stock markets, which is the right broker for you? What are the aspects one must consider? I think these are knowledge pegs that one must leave with consumers so that they are able to sort of see the brand in a very different light. Three, I think, is also about building a community. Right? What happens today is that customers want to belong to a particular space. They want to understand, just like the way we are assembled here today, it's a community, right? And what we're trying to do here is basically learn from each other in terms of practices that are available in this particular space. And therefore, I think building a community becomes very important, because community then helps customers navigate complex issues, remove inertia to product adoption, and that booms advocacy in a very huge way. Right? The fourth thing is also about bringing customer into the stories that you want to really tell your potential consumers, right? For example, one of the things that we very often do is do webinars where we actually get customers to come and narrate their own experiences, right? That builds a huge amount of loyalty, builds a huge amount of influence on consumers that you really want to influence in terms of bringing on board.
Thanks, Anand. Abhin, you'd like to add on to something there?
So, how we see advocacy, and as very rightly said, it is trust, right? We are talking about trust as a factor. Now, ask yourself a simple question: what are the features or parameters of trust? You do what you say, and you are there when I need you. This is what the customer is saying. There are the two parameters. I want my customer to know that when I am there for them or him or her, when they need me, and I am able to delight them when they need me, then they will be advocate of mine. Now, what technology, as he was rightly pointing, technology has enabled us to show this to many people. Pehle word of mouth tha, right? There is a new, and we were doing a design thinking recently, and we figured out that it is actually 4 o'clock. We deployed a Truecaller, and we wanted to figure out what is the best time they will pick the phone to give me a review, because we wanted review. Otherwise, you go to a typical website, wo niche ek photo lagi rehti hai, you know that is also fake, that content is also fake. We know it. But that testimonial is there in every home page of a website of every company. Go to any website, testimonial ek jagah hogi. And my problem was, when people used to write, review Bajaj Capital, some company, I will not name them, they said give us 5 lakh rupees per month, otherwise we will not let positive review come on our site. So there are review sites online who lets you do review, genuine review, but they are high in SEO, marketing. So he said, Bajaj Capital review keyword है ना, एक वेबसाइट पेज बना दो, bajajcapitalreview.com, और उसमें अपने कस्टमर के जेन्युइन रिव्यू डाल दो, और कस्टमर को बोलो, we will give you Amazon vouchers if you give us genuine review there. So you can actually Google it and write Bajaj Capital review, you will see our website. So now the guy who used to come and ask us 5 lakh rupees or 4 lakh rupees, say sir 25,000 रुपए पर मंथ भी कर दो, दूसरी हमारे यहाँ में नेगेटिव क्यों? What we did was went directly to the customer, and that is where the advocacy comes in. The gap of middlemen has reduced, and how we are seeing advocacy that you are asking for a user generated content. Yes, customer want to trust, वो service पैसे इसलिए दे रहा है क्योंकि trust कर रहा है. But my problem is insurance. Life insurance का पैसा भगवान ना करे आपको लगे कि आपको मिले, आपको तो मिलता ही नहीं, आपकी फैमिली को मिलता है. हमारी कैटेगरी ऐसी, you know, सुबह उठ के nobody thinks कि आज मैं इंश्योरेंस लूंगा. Everybody thinks मिंत्रा की नई सेल आई है, right? मतलब Instagram, I'm just telling you, UGC content, sir. I had a very big problem and debate with my team and also report. क्यों देखेगा मेरी रील? भाई उसको GRWM देखना है. How many of you understand GRWM? Get ready with me. उसको लड़के लड़कियों को GRWM देखना है भाई. वो रील उठाया है. उसको बोल रहा है एक दिन मेरे जीवन में ऐसे हो गया, ये चले गए देख के, छोड़ के चले गए हमको, इनकी बच्चों की कोई लाइफ नहीं थी. So we said we will not do this. What we will do is tell customer an element of pride of buying insurance. So that is the narrative that we need to change of why somebody will follow the brand because the UGC content is so good and relevant for them that makes them stick. And that's the whole game.
Growing up, the advocacy that would happen was in the voice of celebrities who would come in there for advertisements, or as have been referred to in the other room, Lalita ji. Okay, all of us, I mean, people of my generation would know Lalita ji, uski sari meri, I mean, about how to wash whiter clothes, and the customer experience which was in advertising. I mean, today's world, we're all about digital disruption, and the tools and techniques that there are for advocacy have changed tremendously. I'd like you both to throw a light on those tools and techniques that are applicable, that make a big difference in terms of advocacy, with a little bit of reference down the BFSI sector, what really works in there. Anand?
Sure. So I think most critical part, while there is a technology at play, I think the most critical part is the entire content delivery mechanism, right? What are you telling your customer? Do you understand your consumer? Have you segmented your consumer the right way? For example that you mentioned in your previous talk, about saying, how do I communicate with a Gen Z versus a boomer, right? I think that understanding is critical, because that entire route of personalization plays a very critical role. Gone are the days where you could write a piece of communication straight all to everyone. What people need now is a more personalized approach. The email that surfaces in my inbox, is that, and the communication that it carries, is that right for me? Is it good for me? I think that is where technology has a huge role to play first. Two, of course, in helping you sift through your entire data and understand what are the different customer cohorts that there are in there, and therefore what is your strategy for a particular cohort, right? Three is that how quickly are you able to respond to your customer? And that technology has a huge role, because like for example, I'm picking up some examples that you covered in your talk, which is using generative AI, right? How quickly can we craft a piece of communication, put that out as a response, right? You pick up a thread on social media about some negative sentiment about your brand. How quickly are you able to respond? And a lot of it is done today using AI, right? One of the days where you're dependent on a warm body to really go pick up that thread and put a response. A lot of it is happening automated, because you taught the machine in terms of how to respond to it, right? And therefore, these are some of the aspects where technology has a huge role to play. There are businesses which require very high touch customer experience, especially the segment that I represent, which is the capital markets. I think what happens there is that increasingly customers find it difficult to navigate, and it's not possible for you to be present at every customer touch point. And therefore what we try and do is use a whole lot of digital intervention to get customer reeled in, and sort of bring in industry experts, do a Q&A session where you can actually have questions answered. We actually also bring in real customers to come and talk about their experience. We enable them with how to content in form of videos, in form of shots, in form of multiple content format, to help them navigate the nuances and the difficulties that they would face in product adoption.
Thanks, Anand. We've had a lot of examples in terms of specifics. Abhin, if you just give us a touch on the most popular tools that are applicable today to drive advocacy in the world of digital disruption.
So, what I believe is everything that you want to do, the tool is available. What is not available is your ability to think through the customer journeys. And that requires the hard work, right? I will tell you the tool that we used for one of the campaign, which was Bless Me Ganesha. Our problem was the moment the Ganesha festival comes, recently, Maharashtra goes for off. So my CBO said, यार गणेश उत्सव आएगा 12 दिन total loss है क्योंकि कुछ नहीं बिकेगा, right? और इंश्योरेंस तो नहीं खरीद रहा होगा उस समय, भगवान जी कृपा है उस समय तो कुछ होगा नहीं. So इधर का लॉस कहीं और से भरना है, right? So we said इसको UGC करते हैं. तो बोला UGC क्या है भाई? CBO है हमारा, चीफ बिजनेस ऑफिसर है, उसको नहीं समझ आता यूजर जनरेटेड कंटेंट. मैं बोला एक काम करते हैं, blessmeganesha.com साइट बनाते हैं. We will say for every customer write your wishes to Shri Ganesha. We will put a Ganesha in all our 300 offices and 150 insurance offices. We will install and for 10 days ask all customers that come and write your wishes to Shri Ganesh ji and we will take it to Siddhivinayak. Right? And when you come, so what happened? Our problem was 4 lakh people walked in. That used to be 80,000 in a 10 days. We had no idea why it happened and suddenly we said, oh, Bhagwan ji ka to itna power hai. Right? We actually did a bumper in the month because this. Now these people came in, we said, whatever information come, we made a card, right? All the information through AI and all these tools and said, write down your wishes. So we got wishes like, मैं अपनी मम्मी का ऑपरेशन अच्छे से करा देना गणपति जी. And we took permission that can we read this and help you. मेरी बेटी को हार्वर्ड जाना है, क्या करूं? So we have goal-based planning now. Now that branch is actually got all the information, scanned it, and now they have a content and lead enriched for that customer to talk to. Now for UGC content, what we said for our employees is send us your lyrics for praising Lord Ganesha as Vignaharta, and we actually named our session also the financial prosperity session as Vignaharta session because financial vigna hatane ke liye Ganesh ji hai. Right? So people came in to listen to that. Right? When I'm talking about actual ground, this will not make a lot of noise in Instagram. Right? Because that's not the audience who will. We will not walk into the branches. Right? So now these guys said, we used a tool that we were asking. We used a tool called Suno AI. And we took all those lyrics and created 10 lyrics, top 10 by north, south, each zone. Right? So we have NSM, North, South, National Sales Manager for North, NSM for South, NSM for East. उन सब की फोटो लगाई और बोला तुम में से जितने सॉन्ग हैं उसमें सबसे ज्यादा वोट आएगा उसको 10,000 रुपए मिलेगा. So these NSM's team started fighting. Any customer will come and say, sir, please listen to this Ganesh ji's Vandana and please vote sir which one is nice. So 7.5 lakh vote came. My YouTube subscription was 0, it became 25-30,000. In no time. Why? So we could create UGC because the content was written, customer were giving and were impacting business. So now this is an annual affair. Now there are brands coming saying, यार next year जो blessmeganesha.com करोगे ना उसमें हमको main sponsor ले लेना और powered by कर लेना. So this is the power if you deploy UGC and giving example of how we did it. There is endless example, of UGC with Lay's doing it like the best. FMCGs वो अपनी photo लगाना, right? या बिस्किट में आपको scratch coupon मिलेगा. Yeah, these are the masters of UGC content. In our category, it's very restrictive, right? Like I can understand we have Bajaj Capital investment, which is in the share market. I can't do anything on this. A lot of restrictions for us to do UGC. We can't say we have to ensure it is set right. So those things start happening for us. But I think there is tool called Suno AI for music. There is tool for creating testimonial.io. It's a very good tool which can be used. You can just share your link to the customer. They can record video and they will get a chance to choose whatever vouchers you want to give them. It is brilliant. So I am happy with 100 rupees Swiggy coupon, right? No, I am actually more happy with Zomato Gold, but its price is actually 30 rupees. There are more people who have taken Zomato Gold, which is 30 rupees versus 100 rupees cashback coupon, because we could use these tools. So this is where the closure part is there.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for the example. I mean, we all know God knows best, I mean, I've had my own experiences on the power of Ganesha to increase traffic. Just the image of Ganesha, of Lord Ganesha somewhere, actually multiplies the number of views and the reach of any social media post. Finally, I'd like to turn around the question, I mean, in terms of how do we measure the impact of advocacy or the role of advocacy in the actual business that we do. I mean, how do we really measure whether the impact of a campaign has actually generated more voices and more advocacy, more referrals, more testimonials in the industry?
I think, for me, the go-to KPI really is look at the net promoter score, right? Because that really tells you how many of them are promoters and detractors. So, that's a good conscious keeper in terms of how you're performing in terms of customer experience, customer service. The second one is also your social sentiment measurement, right? Because you may not be able to put everyone through a NPS survey, but there's a lot of genuinity in terms of what person says on social media, right? And I think that picking up that sentiment and trying to apply an attribute to it is a very good way to look at is a very good KPI to look at. The third one is, of course, you should look at what is the customer's age on relationship with you, because the longer the customer stays and the more he's using your product, that's an indication that you're doing pretty all right in terms of loyalty, and loyalty of course leads to customer advocacy. The fourth one, also look at the transaction value of the customer, the lifetime value of the customer is increasing or not, because at the end of the day I think that's the whole objective of every business, right? To keep the cash register ringing. So that's the fourth one. Fifth, also look at how much of social sharing happens on the content that you produce, because it's impossible today to have any sort of brand presence without being on social platforms. So I think that will give you a good yardstick in terms of if customers really like you or not. And then of course I think the other way of looking at it is that you do qualitative research and do quantitative surveys from time to time to check what is the customer pulse. Is he a brand advocate, or is there areas where he thinks your brand really doesn't match up to his expectation, and things that one could improve in terms of how you mitigate those risks.
Okay, that's quite a checklist. You said NPS, CLV, sentiment analysis, VOC, social sentiment, etc. Anything you'd like to add on that?
We go by CLV as core, right? And multi-product. So customer की lifetime value क्या है और वो multi-product जा रहा है कि नहीं. If these two are happening, then obviously we definitely see NPS, social sharing. Like for us, one of the things that happened was it backfired. So many people walked in the campaign, I was saying, right? And many of them said, okay, I have written to Ganesh ji, now he will take care. मैं क्यों लूँ? मैंने बोल दिया ना. उससे ज़्यादा powerful है वो तो. Then we had to tell that भाई भगवान बोल रहा है लॉटरी लगाएगा पर लॉटरी तो खरीद. ठीक है. So those are the things which will happen when we get into it.
Thanks a lot, Abhin, for the very humorous outreach, and Anand for the very practical approach on what really drives customer advocacy and out here. Very interesting thoughts, very interesting concepts that we shared here. I hope all of you have gained some information, some ideas, some perspective in terms of where we really want to go, how important and critical customer advocacy is. And be constantly on the lookout for how do we get a customer to talk to others, because at the end of the day, a customer would rather trust other similar people than anything that is mentioned by the brand, by the advertising, by any paid source. So we always rely on it. I mean, today there's this great trend about influencer marketing. All right, so I guess on that note, we need to close this conversation. Thanks, Anand. Thanks, Abin. Look forward to more inputs, more insights from the both of you in the days to come through other such interactions. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for being part of this session. A big thank you from Adgali.
Thank you.